Hello everyone, I'm Esh. Welcome to EchPlays. Today on EchPlays we will be looking at Stonehearth with the first look. Stonehearth is a city slash village slash town building and management game. It's in alpha currently. You can get into early access through Steam. I recommend taking a look at it and seeing if you think it's worth helping out the developers and paying for it early. I personally love the game, but I want to give you guys the option to sort of look at the game in the early stages and decide if it's worth your money. But also, I need an excuse to play it because I enjoy it quite a bit, and this is the perfect chance for me to do that. As you can see, I've already started a town called Buttsville. I actually live streamed this game a little bit, and I built this town. And I think at the end of this first look, we'll go to Buttsville and sort of look at a town that's like several hours in to being developed. And you guys can take a look at Buttsville and decide, you know what? Buttsville is fantastic. I want to move there. And you guys can become a Buttsvillian, or you can just go to twitch.tv/EchPlays and watch me build it. Either way, I love you, and I want to kiss you right on the mouth. But what we're going to do today is we're going to go make a new game so we can sort of show you from scratch what the game looks like and plays like. So let's do it. We're going to be going into a new game. We're going to hit normal game versus peaceful. Peaceful takes away the combat element, makes no monster spawn. Normal game adds in the raiding, goblins, and the undead and so forth. We're going to do that. Now, the next thing we're going to do is pick our map. You know, we have a randomly generated, procedurally generated map. They all look fairly similar because there's not like different biomes. It's just where's the mountain at? Where's the water at? Where's the trees at? That's the randomness of it. So we can hit it again. Just us, you know, look through this thing, decide, you know what? I really like this one because it looks like a giant butt. I don't know. Maybe if you're really lucky and you find the one that looks like a giant butt, pick it. I haven't found one yet. We're just going to hit this a few times and decide what we want. I think this looks pretty good, okay? So I like to pick an area. Now that we have this, we started deciding what section of this map we're going to be starting in, what chunk of it. And I'd like to build somewhere near a mountain, within a few blocks, to be honest, of a mountain. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to find a place. Oh, this looks really good right here, right in the middle of a forest maybe? Or what I'm thinking is maybe have it like right next. Oh, look at this place. Right by a little cross-shaped pond. Oh, fantastic. We're going to pick it right now. We're picking it. That's it. Settle in here. So if you're familiar with games like Towns, or even to a more advanced state type of game like Banished, then you will probably be familiar with this game type, and you will probably be interested in it. But I never really loved those games, to be honest. Towns, which is really popular, I've never really been into it. But this game I am really enjoying, and I'm glad that I'm able to give you guys a first look at it in early alpha. So now the next stage, now that we're here, look at this. This is our chunk, right? We get to place our banner, and this is where our first villagers are going to spawn. And we want to spawn them on some grass, so let's pick a nice little spot like right here. And boom, our villagers are here. It's telling me we should name it Charlib which is an awful fucking name. We're going to call it Eshopotamia. Eshopotamia, and the Eshopotamians are now a reality. Alright, fine. Eshopotamians, get to fucking work. No, they're not doing anything. They're just milling around. Shit. What is it? We're going to pause the game for a moment, and we're going to go into and look at some of the tools that were offered here before we waste too much time and effort. Town Info tab is the first tab, right? It's going to tell us some basic information. And actually, if you look at this, we have a bit of an error automatically, but we can get rid of that, right? Maybe. Let me get rid of it. If I double click on it, there we go. Okay. Town Info gives you a town overview to start. Tells you your net worth, your overall happiness, and so forth. In your inventory, if we had anything, chairs, beds, fences, food, it would all be in our inventory overview. And then we have a journal. And this is going to tell us positive stuff and negative stuff that our citizens are saying about the town. And that sort of gives you an idea of which direction you need to go and what things you need to improve, what things you're doing well, etc. Oh, son of a bitch. A traveler approaches. Goodness, you people look starved. The traveler would like to leave you 4 rabbit jerkies. That traveler is super fucking nice for someone who's out in the wilderness trying to survive himself. Except, so this guy's left us some jerky, which you can see on the ground around our banner. That said, that's sort of an epitome of like you'll get random people traveling to your town. You don't get to see them, but little pop-ups will come up. Like a trader will say, "Hey, I have some stuff," and you'll be able to see his inventory, and you'll buy from him or sell to him stuff that you have excess of. Or a caravan will come by and be like, "Hey, I see you have some chairs. If you give me 3 chairs, I'll give you 6 butt plugs." And you, of course, will accept that because a good butt plug is hard to find out in the wilderness. That's the basic of that. Now, moving on. The next tab is our Citizens tab, and you can sort of see that it's just a list of our citizens. But this is a very powerful tool because in here, we can say, "Hey, Shell Pap, that's a fantastic goddamn name, Shell Pap. I would love to promote you somehow. How can I make you special opposed to all of these filthy fucking peasants? Changing jobs sounds like the perfect way for me to do that." Boom. Immediately, we can change her into 2 things. A carpenter, or the other blue one, a trapper. You know what? The carpenter of a town is a super important piece of the economy and environment, the ecosystem of Mesopotamia. Shellpap, you're now the carpenter of Mesopotamia. Congratulations. Let's unpause it for a moment and watch Shellpap become the carpenter. There she is over there. That magical saw. And boom. She is now the carpenter of Mesopotamia. Fantastic. Let's pause it again. And now let's say, hey, what about, let's see. Cecily Boltus. Jesus, what a name. I think we need someone who is going to be really good at murdering small woodland creatures. And Cecily seems like the perfect candidate to become our trapper. And the trapper will be able to go out and trap animals and use them for their pelts and their sweet, sweet, succulent meats. Boom. And the way you're unlocking these, let's go a little bit more in depth with this. For instance, the carpenter. We started with the carpenter's saw, and we started with a trapper's knife. That's how we've become these jobs right away. But now that we've used the saw, if we wanted another carpenter, a second one, we would have to get someone to make a saw, which would require a blacksmith, normally. We don't have a blacksmith. How do we get a blacksmith? I don't know. Let's check the blacksmith button. Blacksmith's hammer, crafted by the mason. Oh shit. So we need a mason to make a hammer to then become a blacksmith. Oh, how do we get a mason? Oh, we need a mason's mallet and chisel crafted by the carpenter. Oh, full circle. So the carpenter would make a mason's hammer and chisel, and then the mason would make a blacksmith's hammer. And then when we have these tools, that's how we can sort of assign the job. So if I had a sword, for instance, right here, if I had a sword, I could then, this would be blue, because we have a sword in our stockpile. That person could go get the sword and boom. As soon as they pick up the sword, they're a footman. Otherwise known as the heroes of Mesopotamia. That said, let's get out of here. That's enough about that. Let's unpause and get our trapper going, okay? Moving on, we have the next tab, possibly the most important tab, the Harvest tab, which allows us to gather. Boom. We're going to gather right away. I'm going to show you guys how to gather. I'm going to take my gathering tool. I'm going to get a little bit better angle, and I'm going to select an absolute monstrosity of trees. That's a new unit of measurement, the monstrosity. It's just a huge swath of the forest we're going to cut down for wood. And now moving on, we need to do a few things. And first, I guess I'll show you the mine tunnel tool. The mine tunnel tool will let us go over to this mountain, for instance, and just start making a tunnel into it. And in order to see this thing better, we're going to use the slice vision. And it sort of cuts off part of the world to let us see inside the mountain and sort of dig a little bit better into it. And we can turn that back off, and voila, the mountain's back, and we can see the world in its full blocky glory. But moving back, we also have the mine block tool in this tab. And for instance, if we want to just like have a single block mined like this, we can select single blocks, right? With this tool. It's a little bit more precise, but not quite as helpful, to be honest. There's also the cancel task option in this tab, and the clear items out of the world tab are in this tab. But we skipped over a tab. The designate zones tab allows us to designate 4 types of zones so far in the game. The stockpile, which we automatically have unlocked, which we're going to make one right now, right away. We need one. We're going to make a 10 by 10 area, and we're going to tell it that it can store every single item we can possibly loot in this particular pile. So we're going to call this the Echopotamian pile o' shit and things. And now it's called that, and we hit the check mark, and we can edit this, obviously, say, hey, I don't want wood in this. Get rid of it. Unclick it. You know, maybe you want to make another one that's only wood. You can do that. It's fine. The next thing is the farms. If we have a farmer, we can do farms. We can select it. We can make a big old farm. Tell it what crop that's going to grow there. Carrots, pumpkins, etc. And we have unlocked the trapping ground zone because we have a trapper. And I think we're going to go ahead and make someone a nice little zone of trapping. The biggest you can do with this is a 50 by 50, so we're just going to do it. An entire 50 by 50 zone. And we're going to call this the, I don't know, Woodland Creature Murder Zone number 1. Because that's what's going to happen there. Woodland creatures, rabbits, squirrels, raccoons, you guys are fucked. You are fucked because the trapper's going to be out there catching you and turning you into various other resources, such as food and clothes. And we also have the shepherd, or the animal pasture, which later on in the game you'll have a shepherd, and you can set that up so they can have a grazing area for all the sheep and other animals of that ilk. And that is the Designate Zones tool. And as you can see while we're talking, they're doing all sorts of work and stuff. It's amazing. Doing all sorts of things. They're leaving wood out to, I guess they're gathering slowly but surely and putting it in our little thing here. And it's a little bit worrying. This little zone that we've designated may not actually be big enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make another zone, a larger zone, like this. A 20 by 10 zone that I'm going to hit none on. And then I'm going to go back to it. You hit none because you don't want them placing shit in it while you're trying to set it up. And they will do that. We want to put wood only in this. So we're going to select only wood. And we're going to call it the Echopotamian wood. Echopotamian's collection of assorted woods. Because Echopotamians, as a culture, are super long-winded and they use a lot of unnecessary words in things. So it's just right up their alley, really. Okay, now that we've done that, we're going to go back to this one. And sadly, because we've already put a shit ton of wood in there, we're going to uncheck wood and hit this. And now all that's going to go away. They're going to start moving this stuff slowly but surely into this area. Now, how are we going to make use of all this wood that we're gathering? Well, the answer to that is we're going to build some fucking buildings. And I say fucking because it's going to be extreme. It's going to be an extreme moment in our lives. And we're going to do 2 things today. We're going to use two different tools. But before we do that, we're going to go ahead and show off the other less important options in this tab. The construct ladder, which we can construct a ladder with, obviously. So if I wanted to make a ladder up the side of this thing, all the way up from the ground to the top of this mountain, I can. And that's like the main way you're going to traverse these different levels. We're going to make a ladder all the way up, and they're going to have immediate access to the next level of this mountain from that. The other tool is the place item tool. So if you had a chair, a table, a bed, a lamp, whatever, it would show up in here if we had some. And then we can click on it and place it wherever the hell we wanted to from there. It's pretty straightforward. The other options, place building and design building. And this is sort of like the heart and soul of the game. Placing and building and designing buildings. So if I hit place building, it gives me some options of things that I've made and saved. These are building templates, and also some default stuff like this. that the game is sort of saved in it. And I think what we want to do is actually build maybe some default stuff, but also make our own. So let's make a tiny cottage, just as the game gave to us. Make a tiny cottage, you know, right up on the goddamn mountainside. Hell yeah. Boom. Making it right up there. That's where the hermit lives. Who's the hermit of the town? We will only know whenever he goes and sleeps in that building. So we're going to build. We'll call this the Hermit's Shit Shack. We'll call it with a Q because maybe it's Shack that lives there. Who knows? Probably because it's the estimated size of Shack. So let's do it. Build. Yes, start building. And now that's queued up as something they can do. While they do that, we can design our own building. Hell yeah. So what we want to do is we want to go ahead and click off of that building, probably. Maybe we can go to this and we'll design our own building. It will do this. And let's make a nice large building, large-ish building, that we're going to put a bunch of different beds in, and it'll be sort of like our little joint sleeping quarter that's sort of a temporary place for all of our citizens to take shelter. You don't want to make it too big because it takes a long time for them to do it. And speaking of taking a long time, we're immediately going to go over here to fast forward and make the game run at 2 times the speed. Because this game is super slow playing. It has to be said. It takes them a really long time to build stuff and so forth. So as fast as you can go without messing up, the better. Alright, so how this works. The building designer. You got different segments of the building that you can select and design separately. And they are sort of all connected. It's a very easy easy system, but it also doesn't like rein you in too much in terms of design and like what you can do from your brain. So the first thing you want to do is start with the floor. So we clicked on the floor, and you decide what floor material you want to use. You have wood or stone. So say you want wood. Okay, what kind of wood? What do you want the wood to look like? I want the wood to look fancy as shit with this nice little zigzag pattern, or, you know, just a standard single color like this one over at the end. So we'll do that. Let's make one of these. Okay, so we're going to just design something. It's going to be a decent size. It's going to be really, you know what? Let's make it an L shape, right? An L shape. So that's 7. We'll go down a little bit more. And we'll just do it like this. We'll have a nice little L shape. And we'll give it a nice entryway, like right here. Boom. There you go. Got yourself a building. We're going to make it even a little bit more interesting by giving it like some shape. Right? Some nice shape. There you go. That's that. That's the floor plan. Now that we've got the floor plan out of the way, we've selected a nice wood floor. We're going to click on the wall. Right? And this is going to do the same thing. It's going to say, okay, you want a wooden wall or do you want a stone wall? And it opens up the options. For the wood wall, we have 2 options. We have a white painted wall or a standard wooden wall that looks normal like wood. And then we have the columns. And now each corner of the wall, so like right here would be a column. Like you can see it. Look at that. Each little dark area is the column. So you can decide what you want to be made out of. We're going to go with wood for now, obviously. And I think we want to go with a white wall. Why not? It looks nice, right? And see, as we hover over the floor, it sort of places the wall for us. It's fantastic. Let's do it. We're going to place that. It looks good. The next thing we want to do is probably make sure we're going to put doors in this thing. So we're going to give it a nice double door, maybe? Maybe a single door, actually. That's more even, right? We're going to give it a reinforced wooden door. Boom. Hell yeah. Look at that. And now we're going to also give it some windows. Why not? Let's click the window button. Nice windows. Right there's a nice place for a window. We'll be like a double window here. Have a nice another double window. Oh my god, they're going crazy up here. That house is going up in no time. Jesus. Alright, more windows maybe? No. The rest of the place looks fine because it's got a back to the mountain. It doesn't really need a window in the back there. Now what? We're going to go ahead and select the roof, right? Now we can pick a wooden roof or a stone roof. Which one do we want? Well, later on we probably want a nice stone roof because they look good. You can pick a blue or a red. But maybe this time, I don't know. When we have a bunch of stone, what are we going to use it for other than a sweet-ass roof, right? I don't know if the building rate is slower if you use stone, though, is the problem. You know what? Let's treat ourselves. Let's treat ourselves to a nice stone roof. And as you can see, it sort of does the same thing as the walls. It sort of smartly tries to predict where you want to put the roof. There are some different things you can do with this. For instance, if I pick all of these sides to have a slope, they all have a slope. If I want to reverse it, it looks a little bit different. Maybe I want the same thing we had, like this, but maybe I want the front side to be sloped as well, or the back side rather. Front side could be sloped, and maybe the back side isn't. It's a nice option to have. You can also decide how high you want the peak to go. So maybe give it another time. It just peaks like that. Or maybe you don't want it to have any peaks, and you want it to just be flattish. You know, like that. Looks alright. Actually, I think we're going to go with a nice peak, though. Look at that. Fantastic. And click it. Boom. Done. Nice blue roof. And this sort of expands it, so obviously you want to, like, go back and maybe do some other windows or something like that. Maybe have a nice window here so it doesn't look all bare and so forth. It's nice. It's real nice. Okay, and now we have some other flourishes we can do. If we had some banners or signs, we could hang it with this. If we want like a nice free wall, like that it doesn't need to be attached to the building, we could make some walls just out here, like some protection walls. That might be a good idea later. If you want to place single blocks one at a time, just wherever you want, you can do that. In fact, we'll probably do that. Let's do it. Let's make a nice blue E. Let's make a nice blue E, right? For Eshopotamian. Alright, let me go back to that. Actually, I messed it up. Okay, fine. There. Okay, that's not really an E, is it? It's a C. Son of a bitch. Let's erase those. One lower. Can we do it lower? You know what? Let's not do that. Let's not make an E. Let's go ahead and it's not enough room really to make a proper E, but we can do some other cool stuff like make it so that it has like a nice little awning over the top of this thing, like that. That's pretty sweet, right? Maybe give each window a little thing underneath, like there would be a flower bed there or something normally. That's pretty good. Maybe give it, what we'll do, oh, you know what we'll do? We'll give it a road by clicking on the road tab, a nice little path. And we'll make it stone, and we'll make it this nice stone, this color. We'll just give it a nice path outwards. And then we'll go back to this, and we'll give it a little pathway thing, like little curbs down the path. And look, we've done it. We've done a thing, everyone. I do feel like there needs to be something here. You know, I feel like this is a little bit bare, so maybe we'll just make like a nice little swirl or something. Maybe a diamond shape. Looks good, right? Fuck yeah. Looks fine. Alright, now, say this is all you're done. Say you're done. You hit finish editing. You name it. We're going to call it the Eshopotamian I don't know. Town Hall. And we'll build it. Yes, start building. And as you can see, this building is done, other than the things we don't have. The door, we haven't built a door yet, etc. But everything is working out, and now that thing is ready to be built, hopefully. They're sort of just hanging out here right now. Sometimes it doesn't stick in this version, and you have to sort of do this again at times. Eshopotamian Town Hall. Build. And you know it works when they start running over there to do this, okay? That's fine. That's fine. Okay, so we're going to need a lot more stone.